Fable, finally the Missing in Action reboot of Lionhead's classic franchise, has a new trailer starring Richard Ayoade, and I thought this was a good tone piece. It very much set the whole, we're still going with the quirky British humor of the classic Fable games. I don't think any of that was actual gameplay, even though some of it looked like it was like framed to maybe be gameplay when she was like jumping through the fire and stuff like that. But as a tone piece, got me pretty excited, made me much more reassured, considering the kind of state that Fable's been in. No date at the end of it. I say this is their Christmas 2025 game. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, 100%. There's no way that's coming out next year. I was happy. Like I'm not. I could take or leave Richard Ayoade depending on like what he's in, but that doesn't matter. The British humor is there. That's the important thing. Like the bit, there's a kind of subtle bit when like halfway through the trailers, like, they kind of fire the hero like fires a chicken through the air, and there's a guy pushing the cart, and he just kind of looks up and goes, "Yeah, well done." And I was like, as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, they've got it. Like it's going to have the sense of humor at least. The gameplay, obviously, we know nothing about yet, but at least Playground have shown that they get the humor, and that's kind of
they love chickens.
They fucking love chickens, man. They love a chicken.
On that chicken thing, there was a thing you had to do in Fable 2, I think, to get the chicken suit, and it was you had to go to a website and sign up. My friend did this. We were like 14. He used his real age. Fable was a 16, and it locked him out from getting the chicken suit for like 3 years. That's why you always lie about your age. Lloyd, what did you think of Fable? Are you a Fable man? You excited?
I thought you were going to ask me what my age was. Yeah, I'm excited. I think Playground seems to be the only British developer that's quite proud to be British in that regard at the moment, with everything going on. But it was really good sort of tone piece, as you guys said. But I was really excited about it when it opened the show. I was like, oh, this is like a big deal. And then it was only when I went and like checked the YouTube comments afterwards, someone correctly pointed out, there was like, so after 3 years after the teaser trailer, you've shown us another teaser trailer, and I was like, oh shit, they're kind of right, aren't they? But it was a good teaser trailer, and you know, it was fun, and it captured that quirkiness of Fable. So I think that the tone is more important in Fable than it is perhaps in a lot of RPGs that are a bit more kind of doom and gloom. And so it's very clear to see that they've kind of nailed that.
It's interesting because obviously when they announced Fable, all that existed was that wee clip. Like, I've spoken to many people that have worked on that project, and it was very much a like, okay, we're doing Fable, let's just say we're doing Fable. And that was in Microsoft's era of, we really have no games, so we need to say the next 5 years as X, Y, and Z. But I think this is much closer to something that it feels like this, you could see this becoming the full game. Chris pointed out, like, it's not even a certainty that Richard Ayoade will be in the full thing. Like, this might just be something they created for this. This is a good trailer you can put in a cinema or something like that. But that'll be, I bet you that's the big centerpiece of their broadcast next year, or kind of the following. But
the other interesting thing is the trailer starts with a wee thing at the bottom saying that it's in-game engine. So they've kind of set themselves up there for it. It has to kind of look like that.
Yeah,
I mean, even if Ayoade's not in it, like at least the gameplay or something is going to, or the cutscenes, the in-game cutscenes are going to have that level of fidelity. Otherwise, they're setting them up for like a Killzone situation. They have to deliver that like in a couple of years' time. So it's going to be interesting when it comes out. Like Xbox at this stage are have to do everything right, and you've got to wonder, surely they're not going to be daft enough to pretend that the game looks better than it actually is. So if that's the quality of the cutscenes, then and it's all in game, then fine.
They can't have a YouTube video of like Fable downgrade. Look how it looked in this, and then look how it looked in that. Like that's why when you see the pretty Sony trailers, they have it in big like bold letters. It's like the game will not look like this. This is essentially a live action trailer. But yeah, I thought this was a really smart way to start the show, especially because this is the furthest thing out. It's like, okay, here's our pie in the sky. You'll be learning about this for a couple more shows, and then it was, here's stuff you're playing soon. Here's stuff you're playing 2024. I wonder if they put out those they like gussy up those old Fable games and maybe put them out next year to get people back into the series. Because who the fuck still cares about Fable? Like, see, unless you're in like your mid-20s or older, there's like no reason for you to care about Fable now.
If they do like a sort of Master Chief collection, but with Fable games, Because they only did it with Fable 1, didn't they? And that was probably the worst of the
anniversary thing they
did.
Yeah,
like I'd love to see 2 and 3, and I suppose 4 getting it as well.
I feel like it's written in the stars that this time next year we're going to get Fable gameplay, and everyone's going to say, "Oh, it doesn't look as good as cutscenes. Doesn't look as good as cutscenes." And then the year after that, they do like a full Fable Direct, like attached to the end of their showcase, and everyone's like similar to me with Starfield, which I know we'll get onto later. But it's like, I've come around on it now, and there's that like redemption arc. It feels like Xbox is just kind of aiming for that at this point. It's like that's what's going to happen. There's going to be those moments where you go, "Oh, not sure about that," and then hopefully they land it. Unlike Halo Infinite, but we'll see.
It'll all be about if they can match the tone that people want. Because Lionhead nailed that kind of quirky, like that was such a Lionhead game. In the same way as that when you played an old fucking LucasArts game, it felt like so specifically from that studio. Can people emulate that? Like, can they?
What's the thing that
kind of attitude?
Yeah, there's knowns and there's unknowns about this game. Like, because it's handled by Playground, you know they can do open worlds, and you know they can make these open worlds look fantastic.
Yeah.
What isn't known is how they can, because the dialogue in Forza Horizon is fucking abysmal.
What are you talking about? The wee lady calls me Jordan. It's like, hello, Jordan. I've got a new race for you to go to.
It's more the one before with all the kind of Scottish people like painfully un-Scottish. And the new one where the fucking guy reads out Wikipedia about cars to you while you're driving. The story of the Vocho, let me.
To be fair, my little AI in Forza calls me Bantosaurus Rex, and it's just stuck for the last like 3 Forza games. So if I can't have that name in Fable, I'm not interested.
That's true. That's a fair point. But yeah, so it's the writing and the combat and stuff like that needs to be. We still don't know about whether they're going to nail that, but we know it's going to look good. Just in terms of what Playground's done in the past, and that trailer gives me faith for the humor. It's just literally everything else we don't know about yet.
We shall see. I bet we don't hear much or anything about that until next year's show.